Hey Canucks fans, checking in with my second vlog of the day. So I actually lied this morning when I called this morning's vlog the penultimate vlog of the year. But this is an impromptu one because the Vancouver Canucks just announced via their Twitter account that Elias Pettersson, our superstar sophomore, has been named to the NHL All-Star game for his second straight year. Of course, he went last year as a rookie, didn't do as well as Brock Boeser did the year before that as a rookie as well. Boeser won All-Star game MVP, but Petey did very well as well in San Jose. Did well in the skills competition, played well in the game, and of course, his highlight, no, just kidding, my highlight was I got to meet him. I was there in San Jose for the festivities. I got to meet him at an after party, and that was the famous story of him recognizing me from one of the parody songs that Maria and I did. So, happy for Petey. He'll be going to St. Louis at the end of January, where the All-Star game will be this year. Now, the NHL hasn't announced all the rosters. All we know, Connor McDavid, fans voted in as the worthy Pacific Division captain, but the NHL hasn't announced all their teams. But the Canucks went ahead and did a congratulatory post for Pettersson. So the fact that they only did one for him, I'm guessing that there are no other Canucks named to the team. And again, I'll probably break this down more tomorrow once all the rosters come out, likely later today. But you could argue that other Canucks got snubbed. You could have made an argument for JT Miller, Brock Boeser, Quinn Hughes, or Jacob Markstrom to be on this team as well as a second Canuck. Now, let's look at the numbers. Every team, every division gets a roster of 11 players, 9 skaters and 2 goalies. And some teams last year went with 7 forwards and 2D, and some teams went with 6 forwards and 3D, but you have to have 2 goalies. So 11 players, we got that. Every team needs to be represented by at least 1 player, so we got that. And we know the Pacific Division has 8 teams, so we got that. So if you take at least 1 player from each team, that only leaves 3 extra spots, right? 11 minus 8. Last year, San Jose took 2 of those 3 extra spots, and then Edmonton took the extra spot with Draisaitl. So last year, every team had 1 player, but Edmonton had 2, and San Jose had 3, and those were the 3 extra guys. For this season, because no one's really running away the Pacific Division, because it's in St. Louis, not a Pacific Division city, I anticipate that it'll be 3 teams that have 2 guys, 2 players, and then the other 5 teams have 1 player. That makes 6 plus 5. There's your 11 players. So here's the thing. As much as I would have loved Hughes, Markey, Miller, or Boeser, one of those 4 guys to be a second Canuck player, remember, the NHL is probably deciding on these rosters over the past month or so. And the Canucks weren't really good throughout the start in the middle of December. It's only through their last 2 weeks over the break where they've had the 5 straight wins. So you could see why maybe the NHL didn't look to the Canucks to add a second player. I think that's wrong, because when you look at the stats, and I'm going to break them down for you very quickly, when you look at the forwards, yes, you have McDavid and Draisaitl. Those guys are locks for sure. So Edmonton's going to get one of those 3 extra spots for sure. But then, the 3 of the top 7 forward scorers of the Pacific Division are Vancouver Canucks. You have McDavid and Draisaitl, then you have Petey at number 3, then it goes Pacioretty and Stone from Vegas, so maybe they get 2 forwards, but I don't think so. I'll get to that in a second. So maybe it does go McDavid, Draisaitl, Petey, and then it goes Pacioretty and Stone. And then the Canucks have the next 2 highest scoring forwards in the division in Brock Boeser and JT Miller. So that's 3 of the top 7 forwards when it comes to scoring are Vancouver Canucks. And then it goes Canuck, then Karlsson, another Vegas guy, and then Couture. So, you know, Gaudreau is not in there. There's no Arizona guys in there, no LA guys, no Anaheim guys, understandably. So again, the top 10 for Pacific Division scorers, and I get it, they don't necessarily just go by points, but it is McDavid, Draisaitl, Pettersson, Pacioretty, Stone, Boeser, Miller, Tkachuk, Karlsson, Couture. So you could argue for either Boeser or Miller to get in there. Then you go on D. Hughes is the leading scorer of Pacific Division defensemen, tied with Erik Karlsson of the San Jose Sharks with 28 points. So it's Hughes and Karlsson up top, then Burns with 26 points, and then it goes down from there. Doughty, Clefbaum, Shea Theodore from the Vegas Golden Knights. So there you go. Quinn Hughes, not only tied for the highest point-scoring defenseman in the Pacific, but doing it as a rookie. And I think it would be a cool story if we had Boeser 3 years ago, or 2 years ago technically, Pettersson last year, and then Hughes this year. Man, 3 straight rookies representing the Canucks at the All-Star game. That would be amazing. Of course, this year I think it should be Hughes and Pettersson, not just Hughes. But what does that say about the way that Jim Benning is drafting, the way that we have such high hopes for our team? So that's pretty cool. But again, I think Hughes could easily be one of the top 2 or top 3 D-men going to the game. And then when you go to the goaltenders, when it goes to wins, Dave Rittich, despite what we saw last night, he actually leads the Pacific Division in wins. Then you have Darcy Kemper of Arizona, who's injured, and then Marc-Andre Fleury of Vegas, and then Jacob Markstrom is fourth in wins of all goalies. But then when you look at save percentage, it's only I can't even remember. Oh, it's Kemper. I'm cheating on this one. I have a piece of paper. It's Kemper that has the highest win percentage. He's injured, highest save percentage, and then it goes Markstrom, then Talbot, then Rittich, then Koskinen, and Rantanen, all these guys below him. So you could argue that by wins he's fourth, but third by injury, and by save percentage he's second. You could argue that Jacob Markstrom would be a worthy choice for the All-Star game as well. So I'm not going to fret too much about it. You know, an All-Star game's an All-Star game. I'm sure some of these guys would actually appreciate the rest. It's we as fans that get excited that, man, if we had two guys there, then that shows that we're so much better, you know, or that we have a lot of really good players. We know we have a lot of good players. I just named 6 of them, or 5 of them. Pettersson, Miller, Boeser, Hughes, and Markstrom. All 5 of those guys would have been worthy. But remember, limited roster spots. And remember, the Canucks weren't doing well until the last 2 weeks, and maybe some of these decisions were already being made over 2 weeks ago. So just a couple things to think about before we all freak out, before we all take our pitchforks out and get all excited. But you know for sure, I'm going to be breaking down these rosters, at least the Pacific Division roster tomorrow. Once, you know, it'll probably come out later today, and then I'll break it down in tomorrow's vlog. But just something to think about. So we give congratulations to Elias Pettersson for a second straight All-Star nod. We wish that another Canuck player would be going alongside him. But we kind of understand, or at least I understand, maybe some of the factors that went into it. Let me know what you think. Are you mad? Are you okay? Are you upset? Are you surprised? How are you feeling right now with the fact that Pettersson, in a good way, but no other Canucks on the other side going to the next month's All-Star game? Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. I'll read, react, and reply. Subscribe if you'd like to. Like this video if you'd like to. Enjoy the day. God bless. Go Canucks, go.